Good evening. We will see some questions that is from unit number 2, that is compression member, and we will go with first part, that is strut only, in first video. In next video we will go for mm, column. So now first, what is the formula for design compressive strength? So we have PD, that is AE into FCD. Now here also you have to keep in mind my P should be less than PD. So P we know that is compressive force, and that is due to external load. So we have this as compressive force, and this we have due to external loads. So we have external loads. And PD, this we have, that is mentioned over here, that is design strength. And our design strength always should be greater than the load coming on it. AE, we have, that is effective area. So now what is AE? This is given in 7.3.2. This is effective area. And how we will calculate it? So they have mentioned over here, if you will see, then we have effective cross-sectional area for all compression member is fabricated by this, so long as the section is semi-compact or better. So you can see this as the effective cross-sectional area. Gross sectional area shall be taken as effective cross-sectional area for semi-compact or better. For semi-compact or better means we have semi-compact, then we have compact. This is better than your semi-compact, and best we have, that is plastic. So in case of slender sections only, we have to find AE. In other three cases, for other three, we have to consider this value as it is. And therefore, we will not go for slender, because in that case, we have to find effective area and our section will not be economical. So total section will not be used in case of resisting the force. Then we have next question, that is how we classify the section as plastic compact. So we have section yeah, table number 2 you can have, and this in table number 2 you can have this B upon TF, that will decide your flange, that is plastic compact or semi compact, and D upon TW, this will decide your web is plastic compact or semi compact. If my values are greater than these values, then we have section as slender, and we have to find effective area in that case. Then we are, how is the compressive strength of single angle calculated? Now for single angle, actually we have to go to 7.5, and in this they have clearly mentioned that compression member in single angles may be transferred either concentrically to its centroid through end gusset, or eccentrically by connecting one leg of its legs to a gusset plate, and generally we are going to be with this. So it is difficult to provide that is concentrically, and therefore for concentric loading we have to go for 7.1.2, and we can directly use formula, that is PD is equal to AE into FCD, and for FCD we can use table, that is 9.1 ABCD. Now but when it is loaded through one leg, we have mentioned over here, then whatever lambda value we require in calculation of FCD, then that lambda value we have to take from here, which is lambda E. So we cannot use table 9 ABCD in case of this single angle section connected by one leg, and there FCD basic formula we have to use, and in this formula lambda we have to take from here, and then we have to calculate the value of FCD. Then which radius of gyration is minimum for single angle section. So we have four axes, actually. We have XX, then we have so this XX is generally mentioned as ZZ in IS 800 2007. Then we have YY, then we have UU, and then we have VV. For single angle section, our axis radius of gyration is minimum always along VV axis. Now, what is the formula for compressive stress? That we have already seen. We have FCD, that is equal to Fy upon gamma m, 5 plus 5 square minus lambda square 0.5. Now you can see I already mentioned in case of single angle connected by one leg. So this value we have to put as lambda E value. Now you can see what is value of x in that case. So we have this will be Fy upon gamma mo. So x, that is reduction factor, we have this value. Means I can write here x we have 1 upon 5 plus in bracket 5 square minus lambda square, that is to the power 0.5 or root of this value. This we have, that is reduction factor. Our this value should be less than or equal to Fy upon gamma m. Means reduction factor we should have less than or equal to 1. This is also most important. Reduction factor should be less than or equal to 1. And then FCC, this is given according to our pi square E upon lambda square, that is Euler's buckling stress. Then we have what are the different buckling classes. So we have A, B, C, D. These four buckling class we have, which is given in table number 10. Then which class gives maximum value of compressive stress? This is most important. Again, you can go to the table 9A, 9B, and you can see for upper values, that is 10, 20, these values are very close. And for 10, 20, we have these values for ABCD class are equal also. So if we will go to the last, then we can have 250, 200, 26.3, and this is 20.25.1. Means we have 1.2. This is very less difference between A, B, C, D. But you can see this value is decreasing towards D, and therefore maximum value we have for class A. As FCD, then we have which class gives maximum reduction factor. Now, obviously, we have seen that reduction factor, that is 1 upon 5 plus 5 square minus lambda square to the power 0.5, means our FCD is directly proportional to reduction factor. So, and therefore, class A gives maximum reduction factor. This class should be small a. So, small class A gives maximum reduction factor. So you can see over there. So your this value, and this value will be by your class, and that will gives us FCD, that directly proportional to reduction factor. And FCD we know, as class increases A to D, our value of FCD decreases. So reduction factor also decreases from A to D. So maximum we have for class A. Then what is the buckling class for roll dissection? So this depends on the cross section. That means this is given. If you will go to the table 10, then we have this. This depend upon your H by BF should be greater than 1.2 and H by BF less than or equal to 1.2. And then TF less than or equal to 40, TF less than or equal to 100, and TF greater than 100. So these accordingly we are going to decide the class, that is A, B, C, D for Z, Z axis, Y, Y axis. Likewise, we have to go for this. What is the buckling class for road channel section? Now you can go again to table 10, and then you will come across for road channel, then angle, T section, then solid sections. We have, that is class C. His value of phi depends on buckling class. Yes. So our phi value is 0.51 plus alpha lambda minus 0.2 plus lambda square. And this value depends upon your buckling class. So automatically your value of phi also depends on buckling class. Then which class gives maximum value of phi? So that is, we have class D. So I can mention this is, again, it should be small d. And then you can see we have phi, that is 0.51 plus alpha, and it is directly proportional to alpha, and alpha maximum value we have for class D, and therefore value of phi for class D is maximum value. Then for which class of phi compressive stress is maximum? Explain. So we have this value, FCD, we have this. So you can see for class D, we have maximum value of alpha. So as value of alpha is maximum for class D, so automatically my value of phi is maximum for class D. And then we have for class D, we have denominator as maximum, because my phi value is maximum for class D, and as it is in denominator, so automatically my FCD value, that is minimum for class D. So this is by using this formula we can justify it, and already by table also we have seen this. That is for class A we have maximum value because alpha is minimum for class A, and therefore phi is minimum for class A, and as it is in denominator, so FCD will be maximum because my denominator is minimum for class A. Then for struts coefficient, K is taken as, so that is 0.7 to 1, that is given in IS code. So these are the some questions which we are going to take for angle section, that is for struts. So remaining part we will see in next video. Thank you.